I call this meeting of the South Redford Board of Education together at 6:30. We stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda is, would you call the roll, please, Mr. Secretary?
Yes, Madam President. Anthony Johnson.
Present.
Amanda Flesher.
Present.
Lori Hicks.
Present.
Cheryl Flesher.
Present.
Misha Early.
Present.
Daniel Winston. Present. Shirley Tolliver.
Present. Next item on the agenda is, I don't have to do it now. Where'd Chris go? Oh, okay, he changed it. Item 14 did have discuss and consider superintendent's employee contract, but now it says it should be superintendent's superintendent's, say it.
Superintendent,
Attendance.
not evaluation.
No, superintendent's, what is it?
Contract.
Contract, right, okay. That's item 14. I'm amending that. Next item on the agenda, are there any other corrections to the agenda? There are none.
And Madam President,
Mhm.
for clarification, is that the resolution that you're referencing? Or,
I'm-
or the actual agenda
The
title?
actual agenda item.
And so it should read as,
As the discuss and consider superintendent
Employment.
employment contract. Next item on the agenda is superintendent's communication. Are there any, Mr. Bob?
there is. Thank you, Madam President. Good evening. We would like to recognize the Vandenberg Staff Member of the Month for March, and that is Ms. Elizabeth Rogers. As the mantra at Vandenberg Elementary is that they rise by lifting one another up, and Ms. Rogers is being recognized by the Vandenberg staff for being kind, patient, and always caring towards all students and staff. And so keep being awesome, Elizabeth. So congratulations are in order to Ms. Elizabeth Rogers. And then additionally, on Thursday of last week, the South Redford School District successfully hosted the 2025 State of the Redford Township Address in the Nest Cafe, which was a smashing hit. And we had approximately 155 guests that we hosted, inclusive of business partners as well as elected officials. The Women's Honors Chorus sang underneath the leadership of Mr. Tim Shaner. They did an outstanding job of singing the national anthem. And then our hospitality tourism program provided all the food for 155 guests. And so we were able to showcase not only just the hospitality and tourism program from Career Technical Education, but showcase the South Redford School District and the incredible efforts of chefs Tony and Leo. And also special thanks are in order to our lead administrator for Career Technical Education and Thurston High School Assistant Principal Beth Harris, who were instrumental in hosting a very successful 2025 State of the Township address. And so the amount of compliments that we got from community members was nothing short of innumerable. And so hats off to them for making this a very special event in which we were able to host. And that concludes my communications this evening, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Bob. Next item on the agenda is board communications. Are there any?
To the chair,
Yes?
I have several. First, we got an invitation from the drama instructor, Patty Denton, along with the choir instructor, Tim Shaner, for the Thurston High School musical in the spring. It's called Once on This Island, and it's a retelling of The Little Mermaid. It's on May 1st and 2nd at 7 p.m., as well as May 3rd, 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. Tickets are $15, and they're also asking for people to buy ads because it also goes towards funding their program. We also have a car show coming up, sponsored by the Thurston Automotive Technology Dunning Auto Shop on April 10th from 5 to 7. It's free. There's prizes and food, and they've also partnered with sponsors Matic Chevrolet and Roush, and that's going to be in the parking lot. Is it over here or at Thurston? Thurston?
I'm not
Thurston's
certain.
parking lot.
I'm not certain, but I can find out.
Thurston's parking lot.
If I may, be the north parking lot of Thurston.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And lastly, I have not gotten any correspondence from any of the board about the orientation operations manual, so I guess the committee will just schedule a meeting to meet soon. That's it.
Any other communications from the board? I read to the preschoolers at Adams, and they were they were fantastic. And I read 3 books to them. Yes, and they loved it. And they said, "Are you coming back?" I says, "Yes, I'll come back." I have another communications from the Michigan Association of School Boards Award Ceremony, which is April 24th, 2025. I would like those of you that plan on attending, which I hope it's the whole board, because we are going to be an honor board. So I think that's great, and we will get an award for that. So I would like everybody to let Chris know by the 15th, April 15th. Let's see. I think that's all I have. Nobody else has anything else? Next item on the agenda is comments from the audience. Are there any?
None.
There are none. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Do I have a board member willing to adopt the
Madam
consent?
President, I
Yes.
move the adoption of the following resolution.
It's been moved by Mrs.
Support.
Early. Supported by Mr. Johnson. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? 0 nays, 7 ayes, 0 nays. Resolution adopted. Next item on the agenda is SREA, SROPA, SRF reports. Well, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It's evening now.
Good evening, yes, it is. Good afternoon, Madam President and members of the board. I'm speaking on behalf of the SREA today. We just have one quick communication for you, and that is we've been putting together proposals and working hard, and our negotiations are coming up. Our first official meeting is March 31st. I believe that's next Monday already at 4 p.m. We're excited to get together and start talking about, ways in which we can continue to support the district can support us, and we can also then in turn support the community. So just wanted to send that out there for you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ms. Woods?
Good evening, Madam President, Board, everybody.
Good evening.
I'd first like to address my absence for our last meeting. I apologize. I got that mixed up. I apologize for that. So today I'm here for South River Foundation. I just have a couple of things to report to you today, Madam President. We were able to get the applications over to Thurston for the scholarships. That is all in place. They have access to it. Their deadline will be May 17th because the award presenting is May the 29th. Also, I spoke with the Leisure Services Department downtown. They're going to work with me to present a community extravaganza. That's what I'm calling it. When I first talked with him, I originally talked with him in regards to the eggs. I wanted the egg drop. And I reached out to him and I said, well, how can you help me? I want to do something for the community. We're just doing scholarships and things of that. What can we do? What am I allowed to do to the community? He said, well, what's the foundation? I said, see, that's the reason why I wanted to do it. So he said, well, you get back with me with your idea. So he hung up. He called me back. He says, Ms. Woods? I said, yes. He says, talk to me. So I said, listen, well, what I'm trying to do is for that very reason that you said you didn't know what the foundation is. And my goal and my promise and my mission is to let it be known of the South River Foundation and the things that we do in our mission. And I went over that with him. So at the end of the conversation, now he's going to help me present South River Foundation presents Grills on Wheels Community Extravaganza. That's going to be the name of it. We're shooting for the end of May. We haven't set a date yet. I meet with him tomorrow, just so you know. And they're going to help me put this together, and it'll be for the whole community. The reason it has to be in May or the first part of June, I know they get out of school in the first part of June, but I'm getting ready to have a major surgery this Friday, the 28th of March, on my spine. So I will be down 4 to 6 weeks, but I will be reachable. So I'm trying to get everything in line so that I won't have to worry during this time that I'm down. And any questions for me? Yes.
You will not be reachable. I just want you to know that. She's
Yes, I
going to sit. Like she tells me to sit, she's going to sit down. Will you be cooking at this Grills on Wheels?
Yes, I
extravaganza?
will be bringing in four bullets. What bullets are, they are 4 pull-along grills. They will cook for up to 2,000 people. I also will have vendors. I will be looking for vendors. They will be licensed vendors of our community. I'm going to reach out to the PTO in our community, to each school personally. And when the school starts back, I'm going to have some liaisons to reach out to the PTOs for me, to also have them a table here to reach out so people can start to know what we're doing here in South River in the school system. I know you're doing a lot. It's beautiful. But we also, as a foundation, need to start standing on our word, and that's to bring something new to our community, and I intend to do that. And that will conclude my report for today.
Thank you so much.
Any questions, Madam President? Anyone else?
Any questions?
Thank you.
All righty. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the presentation, food services. Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Madam President. So oftentimes, one of the people that plays an integral role to ensuring the daily operations of the district and that our students are fed and fed well is the Director of Food Service, Ms. Karen Cumming. And so she is here tonight to provide a brief presentation with the board surrounding Mood Foods and some of the opportunities that she's had to integrate this into some of our schools here in South Redford and what students had a chance to experience firsthand. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Karen Cumming from Chartwell.
Good evening, Madam President and Board.
Good evening.
I just wanted to give you an insight to what we've done at Vandenberg, and then we did at Pierce Middle School as well. You know, science has shown that what we eat, affects how we feel, our moods and that sort of thing. So Charles has a program called Mood Boost. So at Vandenberg, we introduced different foods for the students to try. Many of them weren't way out there because they're familiar with them. But what we did in October is that we, on the fruit and vegetable bar, we put these little signs that highlighted what the actual food was being highlighted that day. And you each have a packet that on your little memo that I had sent out to the teachers and asked them to explain to the students and have them actually look for those items when they went to lunch. They received a little packet the first week the first day of the week we did Happy. So they got a little coloring sheet, and on the back they also got some other information on foods that would make them happy as well. And then on the next day was Alert. And they got this little guy here. And they got a little sticker. And then on the back, they also got a list of items that affect their mood, but also we did carrots that day, so we had a little recipe that we attached to the back of it as well, so they could try it at home. Then the next day was I'm Confident. So they got this little guy. And on the back is a list of things that they could eat that could help them feel confident. And then also the following day was I'm Smart. So they got this little guy, they got a sticker, and then they got a list of foods that they could eat at home that can help them feel that they're smart. And then because there were 6 characters but 5 days, we did strong and calm together. So they got these little guys. This one is red and this one is green. And they got the little information sheet on the back that they could take home with them. So when we did this at the middle school, we went along the same path of the days of the characters, but their icons are a little more adultish, not so adolescent. They're more like a bullet kind of thing. So I had these items posted on the walls that they could see. And then that above the items, we have these posters that they could see for the day. They could look for those items. So they got the wristbands if they tried them. So on the first day was, on one side it says, I am happy. And on the back it says, feed your mood. The next day was Alert and feed your mood. And I am Confident is the pink. The blue is I am Smart. I am Strong is red, and I am Calm is green. So it was really cute because there were kids that tried the things just because they wanted the bracelet. Because they wouldn't get a bracelet if they didn't try it. Some of them, actually, we did include stickers. Some of them wanted the sticker instead, even at the middle school level. So it was a great success. So that's what we had done. Any questions?
It's great. Any questions?
So enjoy your wristbands and your little coloring sheets and your stickers.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right. I'll give those to my little ones and they can come.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is discuss Adams Elementary School, Fisher Elementary School, Jefferson and Vandenberg Furniture Project. Mr. Rob.
Thank you, Madam President. As previously shared with the board not too many weeks ago, our partners from TMP Architecture, Kayla and Kyra, are here this evening, and Kayla is going to present again to the board about the current upcoming phase of where we're at in relation to the furniture project that we started talking about some weeks ago. So to talk about the new phase, she and her colleague Kyra are back again, and so with that, I'll turn it over to Kayla.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam President and Board. Thanks for having me again. It's good to see you all.
Good to see you too.
The fact that I'm here again presenting more furniture just speaks to the fact of how much furniture we have installing this year in 2025. It speaks to how much work that Jason and Amy and all of your wonderful administration throughout the district has put into helping design this furniture package for everything to install in time for our students. So with that being said, wanted to run through all of the furniture that is installing and why I'm speaking to you all a second time. And so that is for our Adams Elementary. They're having a music classroom being installed with furniture. We have Fisher Phase 5. That is the last round of furniture at Fisher due to how large of a project that is and how construction was phased out. And then we have Jefferson and Vandenberg Phase 2, which is also our final phase, and that's also due to the amount of projects and the phasing of construction. And so that was our timeline, and then speaking through these points, we'll go through each space. We have our music at Fisher. Phase 5 includes our library learning commons and some specialist classrooms. At Jefferson, that's also our library learning commons and our STEAM classroom. And again, at Vandenberg, that's our library learning commons and our STEAM classroom there as well. So our previous furniture package, I wanted to run through our phasing and how that has played out with our construction schedule. So phase 1 has installed, phase 2 has installed, and students and staff are already interacting with that furniture. We have phase 3 installing in July, and then phase 4 and phase 5 are on their way as well. And that's color-coded to show the different spaces in their construction schedule. We have our second floor for phase 1 has installed. That's our 5th graders, so they're already interacting in our new addition there. And then we have phase 4 installing in August for students. At Jefferson, phase 1 is the majority of our classroom space, and then phase 2, like I said, our library learning commons and our STEAM classroom. And then our breakout classroom for students to break out and collaborate in that as well. Vandenberg is about the same, so we have majority of our classroom spaces installing in August, and then our library learning commons and STEAM classroom in early September. So then going into that furniture, Adams' music classroom, this is due to the phasing of the district all around, and so now we're pushing in our music classroom there. And so they haven't received furniture yet, so that will be installing in December over a Christmas break, so that when the new semester starts, students will be able to start interacting in the music classroom there. So this is a direct match for what has been installed at Fisher for their music classroom that students are already interacting with. So they had their teacher desk combination installed previously, so that's already set within there. They'll have 30 student stools installed, and those varying foot bar heights help with our little students all the way up to our 5th grade students to help with our different size students there. We have flexible risers, and those can be used in different forms with either 1 step, 2 steps, or 3 steps, and those are on wheels so that for any performance needs, those can be wheeled out of the classroom as well. And then some mobile storage. So that's their music classroom that's being installed. And then moving into Fisher Phase 5. Again, our last round of furniture, once this is complete, Fisher will be all set with furniture. That's our library learning commons. I'll flip right to the photos because that's the fun thing to see. This is almost a direct match of furniture piece-wise to what Adams has had installed. So a lot of the same pieces, just in different forms to fit Fisher's specific space. So we have number 1 and 2 are our typical student chair and table. Those tables are flip and nest, so what that means is that they can turn horizontally are vertically and be moved out of the space as needed, and they can also be pushed together. So if there's any large assembly that's taken place in here, those can be moved and are flexible in their arrangements. 3 and 4 are new bookcases. 4 are shorter mobile bookcases, again on casters in case space needs to be cleared. 5 and 6 are a mobile circulation desk that's also installed at Adams already. We have 7, 8, and 9 form a fun collaboration at the center of our space. So that's soft seating with some bookcases around it and with a round table. 10 and 11 are, we call them sushi tables, and so that allows students to get on the floor and sit on little 3-inch pucks that are upholstered and almost at a coffee height table there, just for different postures of seating. 13 are our steps, and so those are upholstered elements, and that will be at our architectural feature called the Nest. So at Adams they have their Nest, Fisher will have the same Nest feature there. So it'll have a form of architecture on the ceiling and on the walls to create some interest. And then 14 and 15 are some other upholstered elements. Everything is vinyl, so that means it's bleach cleanable. If we're worried about any spills or other things occurring in the space, all upholstery is bleach cleanable in the space. And then off of our library learning commons, we have a breakout room, so that has a monitor for tech needs. We have our student chair and a group table, a mobile whiteboard, and again, some soft seating. We'll be installing an art classroom at Fisher. So that is again a direct match to our district standards so far. We have our standard teacher desk and then our art-specific tables that have a sprayed on edge to them. That helps with any water that might be spilled or any art supplies that's spilled, and new drying racks as well. And then we'll have our new STEAM classroom. This is directly connected to the Nest in the Library Learning Commons with movable partition doors, so it could create direct access. This also has the Flip and Nest group tables, but here it's a marker board surface, and so that could turn into a mobile whiteboard if wanted for the students if it is fully outside. And we also have mobile storage with some pegboard sides to help with any manipulatives, any other things that are placed within their STEAM classroom.
Kayla, what's that black block on that? What's that there?
That's a good question. That's an existing column within the space.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mhm. We'll be installing an occupational therapist classroom, and so when we got into these itinerant spaces, we met directly with the staff that will be within these spaces. So the staff member for this space designed it since she wanted a lot of open space for students, so she'll have her teacher station, a trapezoid table for some student work, and then lateral file storage for any lockable files. An itinerant office here. This will be more adult-led, so they'll have their adult guest chairs, a Flip and Nest table, and then a combination storage for any locking needs. And that was Fisher. So moving into Jefferson Phase 2. Again, this rounds out all of our furniture at Jefferson. So this is their library learning commons. The same furniture, just outfitted in different ways to fit their specific space. So all of the features are the same here for our furniture. We have some standing height. We learned through Adams installation that students really gravitated towards standing height tables. So we wanted to implement those here. So we have our sushi tables all the way up to our standing height tables. And then our number 8 in the left corner, that's our Nest feature at Jefferson. So that has architectural elements to really highlight that space and create that feature space for students. And I should have pointed out our book volumes. We did a catalog of how many students would be in the space, and then multiplying that by our recommended 20 volumes per student to make sure that we're always providing enough storage for our books for our students. So recommended per student would be 4,820 volumes, and then the amount that we're allowing in plan is for 5,148. So we're above our recommended book count there. Our breakout room is the same furniture from Fisher as well. We have our mobile whiteboard, our table, and our soft seating. Our STEAM classroom, again, the same furniture, so all students will know how to interact with this district-wide. Our flip and nest group tables that are marker board surface, our student stool with varying foot bar heights, and our pegboard side panel storage units. And at Vandenberg, it is the same spaces here as well. This is Vandenberg specific library learning commons. Their recommended per student count is 5,840 volumes. We have in plan 7,500, or 59 volumes. And so that just shows how much shelving we could have in this space. And their nest option is right in that lower right-hand corner, our number 7. And again, all furniture attributes are the same throughout the district in our library learning commons. Our breakout room here, all breakout rooms will have a monitor for any tech needs for students and staff to collaborate. Our soft seating, our mobile whiteboard. And then this is Vandenberg's student classroom layout here. And again, our marker board for the nest tables, our student stools, and our storage. At Vandenberg, we'll have a social work office right off of the library learning commons. So they have their teacher desk combination, their book and file storage that's lockable. They'll have some soft seating for students and some guest chairs as well. And that is the completion of our furniture installing in 2025. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions?
So Chair,
Yes?
a little bit of a silly question for you. The marker board tables and the marker whiteboard, how hard is it to get Sharpie off of those if the kids use the wrong marker?
It is a magic eraser situation with those. It's not the end of the world.
Okay.
We use ceramic steel, so it's a little bit of an upgrade from your typical marker board surface that you use.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, good question.
Any other questions? I thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Appreciate your time.
Very, very.
Awesome. Yes, it's an exciting time for the district.
Yes, yes. Next item on the agenda is discuss Thurston High School specialty AV project. Mr. Bob.
Thank you, Madam President. Also, if I may, I know we have some guests that are here in the audience tonight that if they did not want to stay for the remainder of the agenda, that if people would like to transition and into the other portion of their evening, they're certainly welcome to do so, unless there's additional things from the board to some of our guests that have already gone. But if they would like to stay for the remainder of the agenda, of course, they're welcome to do so. Just be respectful of everybody's time.
All right,
So-
thank you. Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
And with that, I would like to introduce once again to the board our partner and project manager from Barton Mallow to talk with us about agenda item 12, Kelly Bergson.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
I don't have a presentation, but it'll be short and sweet. So we recently bid out the low voltage work at Thurston High School. A couple years ago, we bid out all the projectors, the marker boards in each of the classrooms. So this is kind of taking that final stretch to bring us home for AV. This includes work for a classroom sound system in the choir room and drama room, as well as the media center is going to get some upgrades on their sound system. The main gym will get an upgraded speaker system in there, so that'll be nice and clear, new microphones, all that kind of good stuff. As well as some new displays will be throughout the corridors and some of the AP offices, principal's offices, and the counseling center as well. So that way, district-wide, you'll be able to get announcements on the visual, on the TV, across the board. So that is pretty much what that includes. And work is scheduled to actually now be complete again this summer. We thought there might be some delays due to some equipment, but everything should be done in time this summer.
Well, that's great. All right. Any questions? Thank you, Kelly.
Yes.
Next item on the agenda, consider amendment to general appropriations for the 2024-2025 school year.
Thank you, Madam President. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to our Director of Finance, Ms. Nikki Worre, to present to the Board of Education our budget amendment, where we're at this juncture of the school year. So with that, I will turn it over to Nikki.
Good evening, Madam President and Board. In front of you, you should have the proposed amendment to the 24-25 general appropriations for the general fund. You can see that the proposed 24-25 amendment shows an overall increase in revenue of 2.17. Some of the highlights that I have included on there is we have seen, and many were able to participate in the NEST. We are seeing some revenue coming from that, and you guys got to see that the other day. Hopefully, we will also see some donations coming from that as well as our Summer Kids Care program. We've also been working hard on looking for operational grants, anything that we can enlist, and some of that state revenue will be coming from our operational grant that we were granted, our 12A, as well as our Filter First. You will see that decrease in the foundation allowance. That number last year, the budget was approved with a per pupil amount that was larger than we found later to receive from the state, as well as we're going to see some fluctuation with share time. We have some carryover amounts, as you can see, with like our 31AA and Title I money. I am staying on top of this budget, as we know that in today's world, we don't know what's coming tomorrow, as well as what the budget will be from the state. Those decisions are made prior to that even being released. Our fund balance, the net increase in the fund balance amount is 1.577, so about a 1.6 increase there. That does take into consideration, as you can see, we look at the statement from the original, that does take into consideration the beginning fund balance in comparison to what was projected at the original budget. So we are coming in at a fund balance at the beginning of the year of 5.5. Does anybody have any questions?
That looks pretty good to me.
So if I'm reading this right, it says we'll be at 10.4?
10.4%.
Yes.
Correct.
Any questions? You've been doing some good work.
Clear.
You have been.
Doing our best.
And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Madam President, the resolution is attached for board consideration.
Do I have a board member willing to adopt the resolution?
To the chair,
Yes.
I'd like to move the adoption of the following resolution, please.
By Mrs. Flesher. Do I have a support?
Support.
It's been supported by Mrs. Hicks. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? 7 nays, 7 ayes. Resolution adopted. Thank you so much. Very good, very good. Next item on the agenda. Discuss and consider superintendent's contract
There was a committee appointed by Mrs. Tolliver at the beginning of the year. And 2 of the 3 that were on that committee showed up at the time of the meeting. As everybody knows, if you're not there, you can't vote. So the committee is bringing back a recommendation of nothing, because we only had 2. So it would have to be discussed and moved further. Back to you.
Let us discuss this. Well, first of all, I'd like to know, does anybody have any questions, or if anybody has anything to say, if they would like to move to extend Jason's contract for another year? What's the?
To the chair.
Yes?
The resolution that we have in front of us is not correct.
It is.
The first paragraph is not, the committee could not make a recommendation. That needs to be removed from the resolution. We can discuss it.
We have a new resolution.
The one I have in front of me is almost the same as the one before, and that very first paragraph says the committee is making a recommendation. Maybe I wasn't given the right ones, but as it stands, what was in our packet and what is here is not concurrent with what is going on. Discussion and, at the board table and renewing his contract for another year is fine. It's going to roll over anyhow. But we can't pass a resolution that is not right. And that first paragraph has got to go.
Didn't we have a new resolution?
You have it at your table, and it was my understanding it was taking place, that discussion with the committee was taking place at the table, and the board was deciding at the table.
Right.
So it's the special committee part. A special committee of the board is not making a decision. We are making that the board. Cheryl was saying.
Yes, correct.
So just the wording would have to change, but it's not saying special committee. So that's what Cheryl was saying, that first paragraph.
Is that what you're
Yes.
saying?
That's
Okay.
what I'm thinking. Thank you, Daniel.
Okay.
Our resolution has to reflect what the board is doing, our action.
Okay. So, we're not adopting this resolution, right?
Correct.
Okay. So since we're not adopting the resolution, it's dead in the water. So that means that as of
March 31st.
March 31st, we will be extending Jason's contract.
Congratulations.
All righty. So, that's it. Next item on the agenda. Report from board annual, report from board annual preference superintendent evaluation committee. Yes.
So, Daniel, AJ, and I met and have discussed going forward with having an evaluation this year for Jason, maybe April or May. But with the thought to be in line with the mid-year evaluation in January that we would have to do, we should have done this year, but we didn't. So moving forward, we would do it this year in May and then again in January 2026.
Any
Everybody good with that?
questions?
That makes sense. that kind of puts the evaluation completed before.
Oh, I still have another one.
Yes, you
The
did.
board annual
Performance.
performance. We were also talking about just keeping what we got right now and just do that. We would want to get Jason's done first and then ours done shortly after. Summer, maybe.
To the chair.
Yes.
I have a question for our chairperson. I like the idea of, we're now in January, but don't forget, you have to bring the tool to the board for approval, what we're going to use. So your committee needs to get that together.
The tool for Jason?
Yes. And also for the board performance evaluation, whatever tool we're using has to be presented to the board and
Even if it's
discussed.
the current tool?
Even if it's the current tool.
Okay.
I just wanted to remind people that's part of the process.
We'll bring that back, the tools.
Mhm. Any questions? Next item on the agenda is report National School Board Association Advocacy Conference.
Thank you.
That would be me, guys.
There was two of them.
We knew we were waiting on you.
It's not gonna be all of this. I just gave it to all of you guys so you would know what everything was. It's not gonna be all of this.
3 minutes.
Okay, that'll be fine. 3 minutes it is.
Ding, 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 ding. 2.5. Let's go to 2.5. She's still handing stuff out. Matter of fact, a minute and 42 seconds.
All right, John.
And counting.
Hey, cool.
Okay.
Make sure. 3 minutes.
This is just a copy of that.
Hey, Joe, she lost 30 seconds that quick because she passed out to the page. She's taking out too many trees with all this, so she lost 30 seconds.
Thank you. I'll add it to my
All righty,
stash.
guys. Well, it's gonna be very short. I'm just giving everybody everything that I learned from the advocacy. Now, first of all, the top 4 concerns that we had were free and reduced lunches, individual with disabilities, Education Act funding, the title funding within the education budget should be protected and increased. These title funds allow our students and staff to be properly supported, and increasing funds should free up local dollars to further support the general education of our students. Support broadband for schools. The United States Supreme Court is expected to hear arguments on a case dealing with the constitutional of Universal Service Fund. The USF fund the E-rate program, which is instrumental in expanding broadband to schools and libraries. The Affordable Connectivity Program extended discounts on broadband services for nearly 1 million families in Michigan, but those discounts ended in June of 2024. So we took it back to our senators and so that they could vote on it again for us. I'm not going to talk about our Trump and our Republicans, because everybody knows exactly what he did these first 100 days, so I'm not going to even discuss that.
We haven't even hit 100 days yet.
I know, but you know what? That's what he's doing in 100 days, so everybody knows the craziness that's going on. So guess what? I'm not even going to discuss it. But one thing I do want to tell you guys is that in order, what's this? In order for him to actually get rid of the Department of Education, he cannot do that unless Congress says yes. He could dismantle it, but he cannot completely wipe it out. He thinks that with a executive order he could do it, but he cannot, and everybody needs to know that. Okay, we had a guest speaker. Her name was Lena O'Rourke, who talked about Medicaid rather. So we work at the intersection of education and health, national organization based in Chicago. And so everybody wanted to know, what does school health services actually do? They increase access to health services, reduce barriers and disparities to care, strengthen prevention, early identification and intervention, improve school and attendance, and enhance academic and health outcomes. The rest of it, you guys can read all about Medicare. We had the individual education plan, the IEP, and they talked a little bit about IEPs as being, part of Medicaid. So, now the first breakout session that we had was resource equity. When school systems and communities work together to mobilize the right combination of resources that create high-quality learning experiences for all students. Combination of resources and create high-quality learning experience for all students, that is what we call educational resource equity. And we also have HDT tutoring program, and that's the high dosage tutoring program designed to accelerate learning and help students make significant academic gains. And this was all the first day. The second day, how United States public schools can survive and thrive in a school market economy. Lessons from the international community. Started This career started in 2001, working for Teach for America. Education has often been a passive exercise with a static curriculum, ignoring the individual strengths and use of young learners. This approach is no longer acceptable in today's classroom and academy. 10 ways to redesign high school. 10 features for success. Positive development relationships. Safe, inclusive school climate. Culturally responsive and sustaining teaching. Deeper learning curriculum. Student-centered pedagogy. Authentic assessment, well-prepared and well-supported teachers, authentic family engagement, community connection and integrated school support, and shared decision-making and leadership. Nearly 8 in 10 agree they have a great future ahead of them, but only about half, which is 51%, feel prepared for the future. The most important predictor of whether students feel excited about and prepared for their future is the extent in which they feel engaged in school. Nearly every measure of engagement declined from 2023 to 2024. More than 4 in 10 students report that they have not learned enough interesting in the past week. Over half does have the opportunity to do schoolwork aligned with their interests or talents. Barriers to family engagement. Despite essential achievement gaps, families across demographic groups all attend to investigate their child's grade level mastery. All families and schools need to work together to address their perception gap. Parent-teacher home visits. Parent-teacher home visits models were co-created by parents and educators using the community organizing principles of shared leadership. Visits are voluntary and arranged in advance. Teachers are trained and compensated for visitors. Visit focus on hopes and dreams, training teachers and staff to develop meaningful relationships with families of their students. Though 2 30 to 40-minute voluntary home visits. First visit will be summer and fall, focused on hopes and dreams. Second follow-up visit going 2-way communications. Second visit, winter and spring, focused on academics. Student outcomes, 41% reduction in high schoolers' failure to earn course credit. 50% less likely to develop mental problems. 24 fewer absences. 44 reduction in chronic absenteeism. 4.9 additional month of reading and 7.8 additional month of math growth. And that's it, guys. And you guys can take all the time you need to read all of everything I learned. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Next item on the agenda, comments from the audience. Are there any? Not related to the agenda. Okay. Next item on the agenda, Plus Delta for improvement.
Madam President, what processes help the board work tonight? Pluses.
To the chair?
Yes.
I always appreciate getting updates from the staff and the community and our architect people, sorry. Anytime we get updates, I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to be here, especially when it's like cold and the kids are on spring break. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Other pluses.
I really enjoy the furniture update. I like that because that lets us know exactly what we're looking forward to. Any other?
And what processes can help the board's work in the future? Deltas.
Well, I guess there are none. If there's no further business that comes before this board, I adjourn this
7:33.
meeting at 7:33.